It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Monday, the 5th of August. I'm Michael Groff. Active weather across the area expected tomorrow, but in the meantime, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms will be with us today, and it will still be very hot out there once again. But as mentioned, we see an inverted trough coming in here for tomorrow, scattered to numerous showers and storms, maybe some strong or severe storms a possibility. Wednesday's forecast is a bit uncertain, and then maybe drying out a bit, unfortunately, for the rest of the week and heading into the weekend. And what that will mean is, of course, when it dries out, temperatures heat up, as if they haven't been hot enough already for you this summer. All right, let's talk about it first. The almanac from yesterday. Hey, we did it again. 116 degrees, the afternoon high. That tied another record for the date. The morning low, 93. Actually, that low did not occur in the morning. That occurred in the evening, thanks to some nearby showers and thunderstorms. And a few of you got wet last night, but for the most part, just some thunder, some lightning, some blowing dust. The averages are 106 and 84. And as we take a look outside right now, here at about 9:30 a.m., we've got some clouds out there. There are a few light showers around. 93 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew point 63, 36% the humidity. It's a light wind and the barometer falling. Checking the upper level weather pattern across the nation right now. High pressure remains in control here across the southwest, roughly centered over New Mexico and Colorado. The flow aloft is out of the south and east. You see that mass of showers and storms, that MCS from last night, kind of dissipating in association with an approaching inverted trough. That will be a big weather maker for us tomorrow. And of course, over the southeast, we've got Debbie. Hurricane Debbie has made landfall earlier this morning, and that is going to be a major, major rain producer across a good portion of North Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. I mean, we could be seeing anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of rain, possibly more than that, before it's all said and done. And obviously, there's been some issues with wind and some isolated tornadoes as well, and that will continue to be the case for a while with that feature. So the watch warning map, still those hurricane warnings, although those will be lifted as this weakens to a tropical storm, but still tropical storm force winds will be fairly widespread. Tornado watches across North Florida, southeast Georgia, parts of South Carolina getting in on that. Elsewhere, of course, out here in the west, it's all about the heat. We've got the excessive heat warning for the greater Phoenix area. That's through 8 p.m. this evening, and that extends across much of south central, southwest Arizona, southeast California, and northward up into the northwest part of the state, the Mojave Desert, Las Vegas Valley, and all the way up into the Treasure Valley of Idaho and parts of Oregon and Washington, still roasting with another excessive heat warning, a bunch of heat warnings up that way. All right. Convective outlook for today, we've got that standard slight risk of severe storms in association with Debbie across the southeast and over portions of the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast, and a marginal risk of severe storms of all places north of us, again, over a good portion of Idaho, Oregon, parts of Washington, and some of the adjacent areas. In Arizona, we're in the green, thunderstorms possible, and while we don't anticipate organized severe weather today, any one storm in the monsoon can become severe. All right, here's the latest in the tropics. We do have, of course, Hurricane Debbie, as of the 11 a.m. Eastern Time advisory. That'll be downgraded to a tropical storm here on the next advisory. But we've got another tropical wave out there moving into the Caribbean. And that does have a low chance of developing over the next 5 to 7 days as it continues to move to the west-northwest of the Caribbean, eventually across the Yucatan and into the Gulf of Mexico and the Bay of Campeche. And so we'll watch that for possible development. And then remember how I was telling you how in the Eastern Pacific, the tropics had been rather quiet? Well, I should have kept my mouth shut. There you see it. You got 4 features on the board here. There's Carlotta. There's Daniel. There's Emilia. And then there's another tropical disturbance, a potential tropical cyclone there that we will watch for. So that's 3 named storms and 1 potential for a named storm. Very high chance that that will develop. Now, they're all pretty close to each other, but here's the thing. All of these systems are going to move off out into the open waters of the Pacific, and they are going to dissipate. These are not going to have any major impact on anybody or any meaningful impact. Really, that system right there off of the mainland coast of Mexico could send a surge of moisture up our way as well. But other than that, these systems are not going to have any meaningful impact. But still, kind of interesting to see the Pacific is picking up as well. All right, the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Monday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix generally under 1/4 of an inch. Could see more than that, of course, over the higher terrain, northern, eastern, southeast Arizona. And whenever we show you this graphic in the monsoon season especially, remember, your amount will vary because thunderstorms are weird that way. They don't just produce a uniform amount of rain over a given area. Sometimes you can get an absolute deluge. We saw that with some storms here on Saturday night. We saw a couple of storms south of the valley down to near Maricopa, just west of Maricopa, that produced 1 to 2 inches of rain in about an hour. And again, monsoon storms are very capable of doing that. So we'll talk about what's going on with this weather pattern in more detail, see what the future may hold. Here we go, the GFS, the 06Z run. This is valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. There you see Debbie across North Florida. And that system is not going to be in any hurry to get out of there. And it's just going to hang around the North Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina for the next few days. Out here in the west, high pressure is in control, centered roughly over New Mexico and Colorado. A southeasterly flow is with us. We've got an inverted trough moving into northern Mexico. That'll be a feature to watch, especially for tomorrow. But what it all means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today. How about partly cloudy sky, an isolated shower around this morning, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms develop mainly over the higher terrain this afternoon and drift toward the lower deserts. There is an outside chance one of those could get in here, but just like we've seen the last several nights, they will be very hit and miss and probably avoiding the valley in general because, again, we have a lot of convective inhibition, especially just sitting right on top of the valley. We have this warm air in the mid-levels, and we just can't seem to get rid of it. But if we do get a particularly strong storm that sends out a strong outflow boundary, it could overcome that, and we could see a few storms popping up across Metro Phoenix. We did see that a little bit last night, and we could see it again today, this afternoon, or this evening. Otherwise, though, high temperatures are just going to be toasty once again. We expect highs anywhere from 110 to 114. Yuck. For tonight, again, isolated evening storms around, otherwise partly cloudy and just gross. Overnight lows mid-80s to low 90s. Tomorrow, this is where things get more interesting. Here comes this inverted trough. It's reasonably potent one at that. And so with increasing easterly wave, we see bulk shear values increasing up to about 25 to 30 knots or so. And a much stronger, that's a stronger easterly steering wind and more unidirectional type shear. And with deeper moisture coming in as well and slightly cooler air aloft, more dynamic support, more diffluence. A lot of features coming together, both synoptically and perhaps on a mesoscale level as well, to produce scattered to numerous afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms. And let's show you what we're talking about here. Here's our HRRR, our high-resolution rapid refresh model. This is tomorrow at 5 p.m., and you can see it's got a line of showers and thunderstorms coming in from the east into the valley. About that time, they're just approaching the East Valley. By 7 p.m., they are marching across the valley with some pretty intense storms, heavy rain. But the main threat from these storms tomorrow is going to be strong, damaging straight-line winds. And these could be some real big wind producers. Let's show you. This is a forecast sounding coming off of the HRRR tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. And I'll tell you what stands out. First of all, we've got about 1,500 joules per kilogram worth of CAPE. Surface-based CAPE, most unstable CAPE values, about 1,500 joules per kilogram. But look at the D-CAPE values. Again, downdraft, downshear CAPE. You're talking about D-CAPE values, 2,300 joules per kilogram. And the reason for that is we have the classic inverted V sounding here. You've got that warm, relatively dry air at the surface. Cools pretty rapidly, rather steep lapse rates, so that very hot, dry air down at the surface with these big thunderstorms coming on in, and that's going to cause some extremely strong outflow winds, maybe a few microbursts. This is a great microburst sounding right here. So that is a possibility as well. Now, precipitable water values on this sounding about 1.5 inches. That is, of course, sufficient. That's about average, a little bit, maybe slightly above average for early August. So that does depict that there's reasonable amounts of moisture in the air. These storms will be moving at a decent clip, though, so the potential of widespread flash flooding is relatively small, but we can't rule that as a secondary concern. But the main concern, strong damaging straight line winds. When I see a sounding like this, I think wind gusts as high as 70 to 75 miles per hour could be possible. We don't say this to alarm anybody. We don't say this. We're not doing hype here. This is just what the models are telling us as a possibility tomorrow. But again, we're talking about an event tomorrow afternoon. We're only at Monday morning, okay? So things are possibly going to change between now and then, and that can't be emphasized enough. But this is a forecast sounding. These are, from our high-resolution models. And I tell you that the high-res models have done a pretty reasonable job so far this monsoon season. Does that mean we're going to have a big thunderstorm outbreak that produces these strong winds tomorrow afternoon? Of course it doesn't, but it's a possibility. And we'll, of course, keep you updated, especially on tomorrow's video. We'll even have a better clarity on what could happen as the mesoscale features come into better clarity here. But anyway, this is a pretty good sounding course. You see the possible hazard types severe, mainly for the damaging straight line winds. And of course, there could be a little bit of hail too with the strongest storms. All right. Now, after that, showers, storms, highs tomorrow, 106 to 110. And then as we go to Wednesday, this is a little bit more of an uncertainty, okay? The inverted trough will continue to move through. Now, there is still going to be some instability around for scattered showers and storms, but I think the atmosphere, if Tuesday turns out to be as active as we anticipate, that could set the stage for a rather down day convectively here across much of south central Arizona. Nevertheless, we're going to keep that broad 40% chance of rain in the forecast, not only for Tuesday, but for Wednesday as well, just because we could see lingering showers and storms in the morning. We could see enough instability around for a few more storms through the day on Wednesday. High temperatures should be down on Wednesday too, with more clouds, moisture, and that threat of precipitation, especially overnight Tuesday into early Wednesday. Highs probably anywhere from about 101 to 105. Same thing Thursday, 101 to 105, but we're going to start to dry it out. Now, interestingly enough, the ridge is going to rebuild a little bit. It's going to be sitting across New Mexico and Colorado. The flow aloft out of the southeast, but strangely, drier air is going to actually be working in from the southeast on Friday. And so rain chances for Friday and going into this weekend will be relatively limited. I think probably only around 10 to 20% chances for rain Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and high temperatures are going to come back up with the drier air on in here. I'd anticipate highs anywhere from about 107 to 113 or so those days. So we are going to get toasty once again. Not the news you wanted, I guess, but that's the way it is. That's the way it's looking right now. A week from today, Monday the 12th. All right, high pressure sits to the east. A weak little baggy trough may try to come in here and give us more of a south-southwesterly flow, and that could give us slightly drier air. Heights are still looking decent, though, so unfortunately, temperatures are still going to be around 110, a couple of degrees either side of 110. Going out 10 days, Wednesday, the 14th. And that doesn't look great for a monsoon setup either. We've got this upper low off the Pacific Northwest coast and kind of a southwesterly flow infringing upon the southwest, ridging off to the east, maybe some widely scattered storms across the higher terrain. I suppose we could have a slight chance of storms here in that setup, but not looking like a great monsoon type of setup. So unfortunately, outside of tomorrow and possibly Wednesday, boy, the month of August isn't looking all that promising right now for more monsoon activity. And typically, this is the most active month in our monsoon. I mean, August is when we really get those big storms, and sometimes we can get our biggest storms, our most beneficial rains here in the month of August. But Again, outside of tomorrow, possibly Wednesday, it sure doesn't look like that's going to be a likely possibility over the next 10 days. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix, this goes out through the 19th of August off the GFS ensemble. The mean up around 2/3 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch. European ensemble is back to its old ways and being very dry over the next 2 weeks with the ensemble mean and around or just under 0.2 of an inch. Temperatures off the national blended models. Okay, obviously hot today, tomorrow, and then a bit lower for Wednesday and maybe Thursday too. I think highs both days could be around 105. And then, yeah, we're just going to warm it up for the weekend and much of next week. Highs once again well above average, and that's been the trend this entire summer, above average. And that's why this will go down as the hottest summer on record. I've said it. Pretty much since mid to late July, it's looked that way, and there is no, I don't think there's any way, mathematically speaking, outside of something cataclysmic that would change that from happening. So this is going to be the hottest summer on record in Phoenix. Put it in the books. It's just we're just going to find out just how hot. We're going to try and just get pin down the exact number. But it's not looking good. All right, and that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video or make those monetary contributions, $2, $5, $500,000, all of that is appreciated. Or you can donate directly to me via PayPal. Groffshow@gmail.com is the address. Groffshow@gmail.com via PayPal. The executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor, sweetchildaz.com.org, and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out our videos. Check out all the things Michelle related linked up down in the description, as well as our streaming station called KMGX. Tons of music, lots of stuff there. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Please be safe, stay cool, stay hydrated out there. And you guys have yourselves a beautiful rest of your Monday.